So the reason that I emailed you is I love to cook.
Yeah.
But there's no backsplash right along my cooktop here.
Oh, behind it, I see.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have what is called a 4-inch backsplash here, and that's good for around the sink and wiping things on the countertop. But I agree, when you cook, if you have a pots and pans here, they can splatter on the wall, so you have to keep that clean. Have you ever tiled before?
No, never.
Okay, well, if you were to tile this whole backsplash around over here, on the other side there, you've got a corner to deal with, you've got all these outlets and switches to deal with. And for someone that hasn't tiled, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 long weekends to get this tiled. It's a lot of work. Yeah. My suggestion would be to tile right here under the microwave and run it down to the 4-inch backsplash that you have. And that will give you a place that you can clean the wall real easy, and it'll act like an accent piece for the wall.
That sounds perfect.
All right. Well, I've got an idea, and I've got some tricks I think we can use today that we can tile this and finish it all in one afternoon.
Excellent.
All right, I'll be right back. All right, Robin, here's the tile that you've chosen. It's a nice color. It's going to go good with your cabinets and your kitchen, and it's a great tile for a beginner. It's a square detail, and they stack right on top of one another, so it's easy to match and put together. There are actually patterns like this where it's actually called a subway pattern, where they're rectangles and the pieces staggered out. So in some cases you'd have to cut it straight, or you take the other piece and you marry it in, you line up all the joints. It's a little more work. All right, so the nice thing about this is that this is actually on a mesh, and that holds this piece together rather than trying to put up each individual piece on the wall.
Nice.
Now, a tile guy would come in and he'd mix up a thin set or a mastic, use a V-notch trowel, and he'd put it on the wall, work it in, and then take the tile and push it into the mastic and make sure that it's laying flat. So what I want to use is this right here. This is like a big sheet of two-faced tape. If you look right here, these little nubs that you see is what we stick the tile to. That's sticky. And to hold this on the wall, we'll peel the back off, and it's sticky on that side, and we'll stick this whole thing to the wall, take our tile up, and push it on the glue.
Perfect.
The next thing is when you're grouting the tile, you have to get a bag of grout. You want to get the color that you have. You mix it up. You need a drill and water. Take it and you put it on there. Again, you'd have to wait 24 to 48 hours for the mastic to dry. And put it on. It can be messy. So what I got is some pre-mixed grout in the color that you want. Now what you have to do is open this up, take it out, smear it on the wall, fill all our joints, wipe it clean, and we're done today.
Excellent.
All right, let's get started. Now before we put our two-faced adhesive onto the wall, we want to make sure that the wall is really clean. So if you want to wipe that down really good, we'll have a nice clean surface. All right, the wall looks good. And it's dry, that's good. Now we could lay this on the wall or stick it to the wall horizontally or vertically, but I think we'll do it vertically. So I'll get a measurement and then you can cut them all for me. All right, so we need 15.5.
Right, Tommy, I have the 4 sheets cut.
Okay, great. Well, I've got everything covered with the drop cloth here to protect the area. I've run tape up the wall nice and straight, and that's where our tile is going to go in between them. So the next thing I want you to do is take these pieces and peel off the back. All right, perfect. Okay, so now before you stick it to the wall, let's flip it over and I want to show you something. See how this edge has a wider space before it hits to the glue? Mm-hmm. This is the side that we're going to overlap each sheet. Mm-hmm. This edge is a little narrower. The reason I had you keep the paper on there, when we fold this down like this, this allows us to move it around, line it up, make sure it's straight, hold it on the wall like that, don't let it move. Take this piece that's very sticky, bring it up, and just touch it to the wall up there, not down here where the paper is. So we stick it on there. Now that holds it into position, it won't move. You fold it up, you then peel this out, and as you peel it, you just gently push it down onto the wall, and that makes it nice and straight and tight so there's no bubbles behind it. Okay? But once you finish doing that, work it down with your hand at the same time. Nice. Perfect. Nice. So now you're ready to do the next sheet. Perfect. And just to get started, let's just peel this one back just a little bit, not too much, so when you lift it up, you'll be able to grab it. Just like that. Okay, just work it down nice and easy. Nice. Now peel it off. There you go. Okay, so now I want to measure for our last piece. I'm going to have a little bit of an overlap, and I'm going to measure to the tape. And that's 4.5 inches. Let's cut it 1/8 of an inch less to be sure to get it in there without any problem. So we'll make it 4 3/8. Okay, so just push the top in place. Right there. Now what we want to do is make sure that the adhesive is really stuck to the wall. You're going to just take this rubber float and bang it on the wall like that. So now let me show you what our layout is going to be. We can actually establish our width for our last piece to cut. So I'm going to take the pieces, I'm going to lay them on the wall like this, and I want to keep it on the line here, right on the edge. Take my next piece and lay it beside this one. I want to keep our grout line between the sheets about the same that's in the field, that spacing. Okay, so now for our last piece, we'll hold it into position, looking at my grout line. And right there, that is where we're going to cut this tile down. Good, let's see, you make it? Yep, perfect. Yeah, feel that right, get it right out of your way. Let it touch the backsplash right there. So now you'll feel if it's square. Don't let it touch the wall yet. Let it rest on there gently. Right about there. Bang it right onto the glue. Now that I'm banging it, you're not going to get it off. Work it right up. Very nice. Okay, so then just gently push it in like a pro.
Wow.
Okay, now last piece. Yep. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to finish it off by using this premix grout. I want you to go diagonally. Yeah, see? Look at that. Nice. Forcing it right in there. All right, Robin. Stage 1 of your grouting is done. You did a good job. It's starting to set up. So now we need a bucket of clean water and a sponge because we're going to wash it down. So all I want you to do now is take the sponge, get a little bit of water in it, not too much because we don't want to run all over the place, and wring it out so that it's damp. And you're just going to take it and you're going to gently rub it onto the wall, cleaning off all the excess. All right? I'll move the bucket out of your way. Just rub it right on there. You go. Work it around. Yep. See how it's starting to clean off?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Robin, not bad. A little under 2 hours, and you have a tile backsplash behind your cooktop.
It looks fantastic.
Did a good job. I guess you could say you're a tiler now. But seriously, the grout is not dry, and it won't dry until overnight. So I would suggest that maybe you want to eat out tonight. Don't use the cooktop. In the morning, you might notice a little haze over the tile. Just take a coarse rag and wipe it off, and it'll polish that tile right up.
Perfect.